self-expression. Nobody's listening. I mean, who's listening at this point, really? A lot of people who don't relate. This is fascinating, and I am really appreciating the evolution of this. At the beginning of this channel, my expressions, my experience, welcomed, received with open arms, a lot of them to do with pain and suffering and confusion. And as that has shifted into claiming more for myself, claiming my power, claiming my radical worthiness, because it's one thing to say I'm worthy. It's a whole other thing to really enforce and embrace the radical version of it, which is I'm worthy always. We are worthy always. All of us, all the time, no matter what. Equally worthy of asking and creating and receiving. Worthy of whatever it is that we desire. Embracing desire, embracing that desire is the cause of all creation. Desire and love, they're synonymous. You love something, you desire something, you enjoy that, you delight in it. Nothing would be if it weren't wanted to be. All of this, none of this would exist if we as divine, eternal self didn't want it. Desire is the drive of creation. It is sacred. It's righteous. It's holy. It's there to guide us. That is feminine energy. That is the aspect of self that has been repressed for so long. All of this, we must destroy craving. We must destroy wanting. We must rid ourselves of desire. We can't do that. That's a part of us. And it's deeper than ego thinks. I know I'm onto something when the reception changes, because it has. I'm no longer resonating with people the same way. I'm no longer being received the same way. I know I've touched on something when I start being called dangerous. There's something there. Ooh, I'm really in it now. Dangerous, not just within my own mind, because certainly there is that within me that calls myself that. This line of thinking, this new bold asking for more, boldly declaring that I am worthy of receiving just because, and stating exactly what that means. Receiving not just the general idea of wonderful things, but the actual manifestation of them. Things that we use to move about in this realm. Things like money, things like love, things like joyful experiences. I am worthy, as all of us are, of asking for and receiving all of that now. Right now, not because of anything that I've done or do, because I am, because I want. That's it. That, and really integrating the whole of self, really truly accepting all of self. Which, I mean, it means accepting desire, honoring desire, honoring the resistance to it, honoring everything that I witness within my being and all being, honoring that desire gets to be varied. We get to be diverse in our preferences. How boring it would be if we all created the same stuff, if we all wanted the same thing. My buddy showed up at work and I had to talk to him. I wanted to talk to him, so I don't remember what I was saying. And it doesn't matter because it doesn't. This is all just my expression. I'm just realizing, because I've been facing a lot of internal backlash. As much as the external reception has soured, so has stuff within. And that means I'm onto something. That means I am onto something. The more fear and shame rises up inside, the closer I'm getting to the truth. Because shame is not a mechanism of the soul. The soul does not feel shame. Shame is a tool of fear, of shadow ego. And these words mean all kinds of different things to different people. So of course, we're not going to be able to have a meaningful discussion. We're defining them differently. That's just what it is. But one thing that I know is shame is not conducive to integration of self. The point is to love. Not just accept, love the whole of self. Love shadow, love ego. Whatever words you want to place on any of the components, to love them all. That doesn't just mean tolerate. That doesn't mean say, okay, I guess you're there, and I'm going to try my best to look away and ignore you. That means embracing. That means wholehearted approval. That is the power of masculine energy. The power of feminine energy is desire. The power of masculine is approval, permission, validation. It is the role of masculine, which I feel as ego, when it is in its sublimed state, its spirit, maybe could be called that, but it is the role of that energy, that aspect of self, to approve, acknowledge, validate, and permit the desire of feminine. Which is really the core of our being. That is the core of our energy, is feminine energy. So how do I integrate shame? Because I'm not going to shame. I'm not going to be ashamed of shame. I'm going to approve it. I'm going to approve of it. I'm going to be unashamed of shame. I'm going to invite it to be and recognize there's a part of myself that loves it. And I'm going to let it love it. I'm going to let it enjoy the feeling of shame. And not let it control me. Not let it manipulate me. I'm not going to be manipulated by or manipulate by shame, guilt, blame, any of those things anymore. I'm not going to let them change me, because that's what they want. That's a tool of control, a mechanism that has been used to shape other people's behavior, and we internalize it by watching it as a way to shape our own. And what that really does is repress the whole of ourself. We have these desires. Feeling ashamed of them doesn't make them go away. They're not wrong. It is shame that creates shadow. I mean, that's Jungian psychology. And it's all about exposing those desires, those aspects of self which we have pushed away and denied and repressed, to the light, integrating them, which means accepting them fully, loving them. Not just acknowledging that they're there, inviting them in as a part of self. That's what I want to do. I want to love all of me. And the more that I love myself, and the more parts of myself that I love, the more backlash and resistance I feel to it. And it is fascinating. The more that I accept shame and don't allow it to change me, and stop using it to try to change other people, the more shame rises up against me. The more confident and relaxed I feel in myself, the harder the fear rises up, these old identities that are small and shameful. They don't want to lose ground, and I get it. I get it. They get to want what they want. They get to want that. They get to want to stay small and afraid. They get to want to be unwanted and unrecognized and unworthy. They get to want that. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong. They're not wrong. Source self wants to experience all of it. It wants to experience everything. It has a desire to experience those things, to create and experience what other parts of itself would say are unwanted. All of it is wanted. All of it is wanted. The humiliation, the rejection. It's all desired. And I can recognize that. I can step into that space of wholehearted approval of everything within myself. And so whatever happens in my experience, if I am received or not received, I can enjoy it. I can appreciate it and say there is an aspect of me that is fulfilled. Whatever is happening, it was desired, it was asked, it was created, it was received. Nothing to be upset about here. If it looks like I'm winning, if it looks like I'm losing, all of it is wanted by something in me. So really, at the higher level, I can't lose. Everything that happens is a desired manifestation. I'm taking responsibility for all of it. I'm taking ownership of all of it. Nobody creates in my experience. Nobody. That doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. And I don't create in anyone else's. This is my reality that I am crafting and molding to my own pleasure and delight. And I get to experience all of it because I want to. And I get to enjoy all of it because I want to. That's power. That is fucking power. I'm untouchable in that. That I can take pleasure in every experience. And that's not denying what it is. It's accepting it fully. Actual acceptance. Not lip service. Not saying, well, it is what it is, so I guess I accept it because I can't deny that it's what it is. No, I'm embracing. I am finding a way in my perspective to allow that whatever happens in my experience is what I want. It is, in fact, something I desired, and I have asked and received the fulfillment of that desire. And therefore, I can feel truly, genuinely grateful for whatever it is that's happening. If my experience is ease and flow, I'm grateful for that. If my experience is resistance and tension, then I can be grateful for that. Because I want both of those things. I want all of the things. I get to ask for all of them. I get to receive and enjoy all of them. And the more that I am called crazy, I can feel the resistance to it. Again, I can feel it within myself. And I have witnessed it without being called crazy, being called dangerous, deluded. The more that happens, the more excited I am by this. First of all, that's a desired experience too. To be rejected, oh yeah, there's deep things in me that want that. So I'm grateful for that. And I can take pleasure. I feel it as pleasure. This is not, again, it's not lip service. It's not an exaggeration. It feels sensational. It feels good. I can allow myself, I can permit myself to take pleasure in that desire. And so whatever is happening to me, I can enjoy it. I can genuinely fucking enjoy it. Oh. And know that I get to have fun with this, no matter what. It's easy for something inside to say, oh, you've gone off the track. You're missing it now because people aren't resonating, because you're not being received the same way, because you're facing contradiction or backlash. That means something is wrong. I mean, it's easy. I'm looking at notes here to remind myself of everything that I'm feeling and want to talk about. It's easy to feel that and hear that voice say you should change yourself to be liked. You should shape what you feel and believe and what you're putting out there differently so that it's received positively. That is the voice of shame trying to manipulate me into changing. I'm not here to be liked. I am not here to be liked. I am not for anyone. I am for myself. I have created myself for my own delicious enjoyment, and that's it. Not anybody else, not to be received, not to be recognized, not to be wanted. I'm not here to say what people want to hear or what they agree with, including the mind patterns and identities that I have picked up along the way that are not actually me and my voice. I'm not here to win anyone over, including these voices in my head that tell me all the same things, that I'm wrong and dangerous. I am here to push buttons and boundaries. I'm here to expand. I'm here to experience and experiment and explore and evolve and try it all, taste it all, and enjoy it all. That's my power, that's my desire, and I get to have that. I'm not here to be liked, to be welcomed, to be accepted. I am here to do things my way. For me, not for anybody else, and it doesn't affect anybody else. I'm just demonstrating that I can do things this way and you can do things your way. And there's no conflict here. There is no contradiction. It's not I'm right and you're wrong. We're both right. We're both right. We both get to have it our way. And nobody is wrong for calling me wrong. None of it is wrong. None of it is a problem. It is all A-okay. There is room enough, space enough in this infinite universe for all of us to be right simultaneously. There's no enemy here. We don't have to fight about it. If we do, that's fine too. If a conflict is desired, it's not perceived as a conflict. But the perception of it is allowed. That's not a problem. Again, no conflict. So I'm really enjoying the ruffling of feathers. Within and without, again, because there is so much in me that resists this, and I am accepting it. I have the power, the ultimate power of acceptance, and not just acceptance in the form of non-resistance, but wholehearted approval, radical approval. If there is something in me that says, no, you're wrong, you're crazy, and you should feel bad because you are bad, I can look at that and say, I love you. You're great for feeling that way. You're allowed to feel, you're not just allowed to feel that way. That's your desire, and you get to receive your desire because you're worthy and you're well, and I love you unconditionally. I get to hold the parts of myself, all parts of myself, that really, really deserve holding. The parts that really think they don't, that really even reject the notion of love altogether. I get to accept them radically, completely, unconditionally, which means not asking them to change. I'm not going to shame. I'm going to approve of it within myself, which means it has no power over me. Because if I am approving of shame, it's not pushing me to change in any way. I'm just letting it be there, and more than letting it be there, I'm inviting it to be there. I'm saying there's a part of myself that desires this feeling of shame. I'm going to tap into that, and I'm going to bask in this. And now, in my experience of shame, not something else, not calling it anything different, not pretending it's something other than what it is, in my experience of shame, I can deliberately approve of it and experience pleasure simultaneously. Just because I want to, because I want to experience pleasure, because I want to feel good and I get to. Just because I'm a nasty freak like that. That's it. That's fucking it. I can't be shamed out of joy. I can't be shamed out of pleasure. I can't be shamed out of shame and enjoying it. You can't be humiliated if you embrace humiliation as wanted. You can't be rejected if you accept rejection as desired. And that part of yourself, you're embracing yourself, and then in being rejected by others, you are drawn closer to yourself. You're only holding yourself more, feeling more love and appreciation for all of your being. I win no matter what. We all do. We all do, because we're not playing against each other. This is not a competitive game. It's not even cooperative in the way that we think it is. It's self with self. And your experience of self and my experience of self need not touch each other. It's you and you working together to collaborate and create your experience of reality as we perceive it here in this physical realm. And we get to, if we choose, co-create with other selves when we share a dream, we share a vision, and we merge those things, and we deliberately are sort of merging kingdoms. But even then, you're never trespassing on one another, because it's all consensual. It's only by consent and approval that takes place. And the second that I have a desire that doesn't quite mesh with your desire, they separate just slightly. And they both get to coexist. In fact, we're each still creating our own version of the desire, because our perception of it is inherently individual. Even if we're both creating an empire together, my experience of it is different from your experience, because we're each in our own bodies experiencing it personally. There are never two people having exactly the same experience, because it's individual, it's unique. But we can get pretty damn close, especially when our energy is exactly a match to one another. Which can happen with numerous people under the right circumstances, and it can happen with, I feel, one individual continuously. The one that is a match to your energy, because not everyone is. In fact, nobody but one is. That's the way I feel, that's my perception. I'm not saying that's the gospel truth. That's true in my reality. That is as I perceive it to be, and therefore it's true for me. Not anybody else. Nobody else has to accept that or anything that is true for me. But what's true for me is true for me. If I see the sky as orange, then it's orange. And no amount of convincing and argumentation to the contrary changes the reality of my sky being orange. Nor does it change yours being blue. They just are what they are, and neither one is wrong. This is true for me. It's real for me. It doesn't have to be for you. And what's real for you is real for you. It's valid. It's actual. It is true. The truth is not objective. It's just not. It is inherently subjective. So there is no one truth about reality. Even saying that we create it to be as we perceive it, that's true. But if you don't perceive it that way, you're not going to experience it that way. And that's okay too. It doesn't really alter the truth, because that's kind of a deeper, fundamental, what you're perceiving as reality is real for you. That kind of proves itself, which makes it perhaps the only objective truth that there is. But if you don't accept that truth, then it's going to demonstrate differently to you in your world. You're going to feel like you're not in control. You're going to feel like you are just a speck floating through a vast sea adrift. That's allowed too. That's in fact desired. As much as knowing our power and creating on purpose, that's a desired experience. So you can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong. You can't miss your desire. It's just a matter of expanding awareness of it to accept that everything is desired. To give that radical permission, and then you're expanding your horizons of pleasure and sensation. You're inviting it all to please you, and whatever is happening, you can say, this is desired by me, genuinely. I'm not making it up. I can see there is a part of myself that wants this and that is being fulfilled in this moment. And I can tap into that, feel grateful, and bask in the reception of my desire. Continuously, because it's a continuous manifestation. Which means continuous fulfillment of what is wanted. This is not the only way. This is not the only path. It's one of countless. It's not the right way. It's just a way. It's just a way of moving through reality. And I am experimenting with it. I've tried many things. I've worn many hats. I've followed Zen and Taoism, Eckhart Tolle, Abraham Hicks, Law of Attraction, Chaos Magic. This is maybe leaning a little more that direction. I'd like to integrate all of it. Hermeticism, Tantra, these are my interests. Tantra is the path of sensationalism. Finding divinity through all experience. That interests me. That intrigues me. It doesn't have to interest everybody. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Put it down. Pick up something that is. That's okay. But I like this feeling of energy flowing through my body continuously, and it's a lot. It's intense. It feels intense. It's not comfortable all the time, but I am learning more how to expand and relax into this experience of continuously flowing energy, of feeling out of this world. I have felt like I am floating for the past several weeks. And it's freaky. And there's a lot in myself that is not receptive to it, but I'm learning to increase my tolerance for sensation, high sensation, to expand, to allow, to approve, and to let everything in life please me, to let every sensation become a pleasurable one. I can do that. That's my choice. That's my power. So that's what I choose to do. I am dangerously crazy. I am absolutely mad. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I am fulfilled by everything, including the experience of anxiety and fear. All of it serves me and my desire, no matter what. No matter what. So I just get to be this raw nerve open to experience. And whatever part of me is touched, it makes me shiver. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty liberating. Pretty empowering and powerful. But I'm just scratching the surface of this. I can't wait to be rejected more. I am so looking forward to that, to pissing people off. Not on purpose, just by my being. I don't want people to be mad. I just want to be me, and I allow everyone to have whatever their experience of that is, their experience of me, their reaction to me. I accept fully that others are going to envy and resent and reject and be upset by me. That's allowed. That's beautiful. I appreciate that. I validate that. That's not wrong. That's absolutely right. All of those people get to feel all of those things. And I'm grateful for it. I invite and accept that experience. And I'm going to keep walking. Because this is the same message that's been preached and been rejected through countless millennia. Did you forget that you were God's? Did you forget? Elohim, creators of reality. Did you forget that I am God and you are too? I'm not here to convince anybody of that. I'm just here to believe that and demonstrate that for myself because I want to, because I get to, because I find that that pleases me. And however that's received or not is not relevant. I accept all of it because you're God too, and you get to feel and create exactly what you want. And our creation does not conflict. It's all free. It's all limitless. It's all boundless. We get to be and do and have whatever we want, and we're worthy of asking and receiving that right now. Right now. And now. And now. And forever, because it's all now. Have a big, beautiful life. And a blessed afternoon. I love you.